Culturians, and welcome back to the channel. Of course, we've got to talk about all those teaser trailers that Marvel has invested in, and I'm going to tell you right now, it might have been worth it. I mean, it may eventually be worth it. It's not worth it now. Right now, they spend an awful lot of money on an awful lot of trailers that a lot of people have seen. But is that going to pay off at the box office? That's the question we're asking today. Does 1 billion views equal $1 billion a year from now? I don't know, but we're going to talk about it. Here we go. Now, before we get started, just a real quick reminder, I'm trying to get to 50K. I can only do that with your help. If you double check down there, make sure you're still subscribed. That would be doing me a huge favor. I would truly appreciate it. And it would make the channel grow faster. If you are here for the very first time, if you don't subscribe, you probably won't make it back. That's just the way the algorithm works. If you've been here for your 1000th time and you found yourself unsubscribed, subscribe again, please, and turn on all notifications so you don't miss anything by hitting the notification bell and selecting all. And beyond that, let's go ahead and hit that thumbs up button because that creates a form of engagement that the algorithm likes. And then before we get to the end of it, leave me a comment down at the bottom. But let's get here. Avengers Doomsday teasers surpassed 1 billion views as Marvel thanks fans. Well, I didn't get thank you. Did you get a card? Probably not. But they're just saying thank you to everybody who participated in looking at, well, their YouTube videos. And you know what? That's a good thing. They definitely had an impact in the theaters, enough so that people went to go see films that they likely would have never seen, like, for example, Avatar. But there's a lot of things out there that are driving people to the theaters that aren't the movies anymore. It's trailers like these. Well, this one certainly has a lot of people talking, or at least the 4 that were released, and they're talking in a good way, which may be good momentum, but I think the momentum started too early. We're still 10 months out at least from this, since I don't think we get this until Christmas. From the story over at Cosmic Book News by our friend Matt McGloin, Marvel Studios has officially announced that the Avengers Doomsday teaser campaign has surpassed a massive milestone of over 1 billion views across platforms. That's an awful lot. To mark the occasion, Marvel released a short video message reading, "Thank you for over 1 billion views." Now, here's the interesting thing. For a change, they're not blaming you, the fans. It's not your fault. In fact, they're thankful that you were able to give them that many views. The question is that going to be dollars in their pockets when we get around to release time? I don't know. But the story continues. The thank you clip plays for the latest countdown clock, reinforcing Marvel's viral Doomsday is Coming campaign. That's right. They're trying to use an idea of a Doomsday clock as a way to promote this particular film. And I get it. I mean, you can do this with a few things out there in order to promote that in the future. And I like the idea of a Doomsday clock. It just always usually reads just a minute or two before midnight. Regardless, it spans the cryptic teasers, trailers, and live ticking Doomsday clock that's set to expire on December 18 of 2026, which really is forcing their hand. They're not going to be able to extend this deadline anymore because it would derail this particular campaign. Not to mention the fact Doomsday has a lot of negative connotations behind it, and I'm not certain that couldn't be projecting doom in the future on the franchise. I don't know. I don't really care. Marvel's been going downhill as far as I'm concerned ever since Endgame, but can we reboot it? Can we bring fans back with a differently cast Doom? Taking a previous character player and turning him into something else. And is that a good idea? Well, we guess we're going to find out. The YouTube teaser rankings were revealed recently, and Marvel didn't break down the numbers as far as where 1 billion came from here and there. Their official YouTube channel gives fans a sneak peek into which Avengers Doomsday teaser is drawing the most attention, and there's one that's definitely lagging behind. The Steve Rogers one seems to be the most popular at 18 million views. The Thor teaser at 17, which makes sense to me. He's the most relevant. The X-Men teaser at 15 million. That is a good sign for somebody like me, because I like the old X-Men stuff in particular, not so much the new things. I'm not a big fan of what they did to Quicksilver, and that's an entirely other conversation. But do you know the one that nobody cares about and is unsurprising to me? It's the Wakanda trailer at only 8.6 million views. Why is that not surprising? Because nobody really bought into Wakanda after the original actor passed away, and they didn't cleanly replace him. recasting the role. Instead, we got Shuri and the Shuri copter, which didn't sell, and a lot of references to a character that really isn't portrayed very well as Namor. What I do know is despite the overall success, the Wakandan teaser is trailing significantly with less than half the views of the Steve Rogers post specifically. Well, that should tell you a lot about the audience you went to go grab and never showed up. And also that there really isn't a woke audience, which is why these films have fallen on hard times as well as the series. If anything, it's really a reason why Disney minus didn't continue to grow after they started to invest in woke Star Wars and woke Marvel. You push too hard on those levers and you push the company downward. It's unclear whether this is due to placement, timing, fan interest, or it's the lowest performing teaser so far. Well, I can tell you why. Nobody cares about it. It's sold too much as messaging. It's not really sold as a genuine hero story, and it never has been. In fact, I really do think that Chadwick Boseman was really the only person that could have played it. He played it to the bone, and it made it interesting, which made it an over $1 billion film. But you can watch all 4 of these over there on Cosmic Book News if you want to. I don't know why you would. You could just go over to YouTube and do that. But the doomsday clock ticks on, or ticks down, or however you want to say it at this point. And all I have to say is this. This may be a good sign, but it's not guaranteed. You're going to see a glowing green A symbol teased in the earlier trailers alongside a message confirming the film is not yet rated. That's right. This film has not yet gotten its PG rating. Will it? That's a good question. In fact, I would say that they have to push hard into a PG-13 rating, or else they're going to lose some of the audience that they hope to gain by bringing all these characters together, which also kind of throws some shade on the conversation around Deadpool being a major part of this or the successive films, because from what I've been hearing, whether or not it's true or not, they could split the last film into 2, and we could get kind of a Battle Worlds aspect that originally wasn't presented to anybody as something that would happen. But they're definitely going to be multiple teams pursuing multiple goals, but it still looks like a protect the kids kind of a film. And that's the last thing in the world Hollywood seems to have been interested in. Thank you, Timothy Busfield. Anyway, back to the story. The countdown itself continues to update in real time across Marvel's digital platforms, which is pretty cool. As speculation grows about Marvel's marketing strategy and what secrets may still lie in the teasers, the studio continues to build anticipation while teasing these aren't just trailers, but stories and clues. And I believe that as well. I think they understand that viral marketing requires breadcrumbs and to follow those breadcrumbs. And I think they also understand that they're going to be making a grasp for audience members that haven't showed up for a long time, especially after, well, Quantumania and the Marvels, which were complete garbage. In fact, most people abandoned the most recent phase and didn't show up for any of the flop and failures that followed. In fact, after the Marvels, I think everybody was just pretty done, except for the actors and actresses that got stuck in roles that nobody likes anymore. But we'll continue. They are stories. They are clues. Pay attention, says the Russo brothers. And you know what? That may be true, but it may be part of a story that people really aren't all that interested in. And it doesn't matter which of these 4 you actually watch or where they fall within the hierarchy. All I know is that I think the audience will make a decision whether or not they want to see this or whether or not they're going to wait. And that's Disney's biggest fear. Imagine if the entire audience decides to sit back and wait for this to hit streaming, whether it be Disney minus or somewhere else in a different pay window. And that very possibly could happen. And as we start to see piracy numbers rise, do we think that that might actually eat into this market as well? I have a feeling we're going to see this early somewhere, and it's going to be a major catastrophe for Disney, and I have a lot of people who feel like they kind of deserve it. I, on the other hand, am not an advocate for that, but I am an advocate for film and for it being in cinemas, which is why I hope that Doomsday is a win. I just hope it's not a win for streaming. And ultimately we'll see what comes to pass. But what do you think? I've told you my thoughts. What are yours? Is Doomsday going to be a return to greatness for Marvel? Will Doomsday drive people into the next couple of films expecting more of what they came to Marvel for? Or do you think they will be let down by what Doomsday may have to offer? And of course, Secret Wars, whether or not there's a battle world inserted in there or not. Do you think that the return of a lot of characters, favorites like Loki and others, are going to drive people to theaters? Or do you think it's the next 30 chairs revealed as characters in this particular film? Because we're not done revealing who's actually going to show up. The bigger question is, how about you? Are you going to show up? Let me know, again, your thoughts in the comment section down below. And as always, be sure to take care of yourself, take care of others, and until next time, see ya. Maybe even at Doomsday.